What's up, Dusty? How's it going?
What's up? No, could be better, could be worse, but it's going good. Yeah. How about
Good,
you? How you doing?
good. It's been a little bit.
It has.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Marvin's not here for the reunion. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but we'll get him back
Yeah.
next week. I think we should be
That's right.
back to our regularly scheduled programming going forward. I know you were moving, then Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
happened. I was busy with like holiday work stuff, so we had to take a
Yeah.
couple weeks off. We only missed two episodes, but every time Marvin's right, he mentioned it. Every time we take like a week or two, it feels like I'm a fucking soldier coming back from war or something. Like it's just been
It
forever.
has, yeah.
Yeah. But it hasn't really been that long. It's longer for you
No.
though. But
Yes.
how was your move?
It was a shit show, Dan.
Mm. Well, that's not
But
good.
we're in, yeah, we had planned like 3 months ago. I want to say we were gonna move in like the last week of November. That was really the window because I think the lease was up in the beginning of November, but we prorated where we were at the apartment we were at
Right.
to give them time,
Gotcha.
and it wasn't ready. And then so we pushed it back to the 1st of December, and we're we're gonna move in, but the house wasn't cleaned, and
Gotcha.
we thought that
You're
they just
renting or
didn't
you bought
hire.
it?
No, renting.
Gotcha.
We're just gonna rent a house for there about 2 years, and then buy or build.
That's fair.
But just renting a house for now. But it wasn't clean at all. Like I thought they had lied about hiring cleaners, but they're like, "No, here's the receipt. We paid $1,100." We're like, "Jesus Christ,
So
get your money back,
damn.
and we'll hire somebody else." And we hired somebody else, and they cleaned it properly. And so yeah, so that like bumped us like another week of moving in. So we didn't actually move in till I guess Friday. Today is Monday. Today's Tuesday.
Today
So
is Tuesday, yeah.
moved in Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha.
I think Friday was our first night there, but yeah,
Okay.
fucking crazy.
Well, you're
But all
in.
settled in for 2 years now. So
That's good. And you guys saw you sent the
yeah,
picture. You got a nice little office space.
yeah, yeah. It's
That's cool.
mostly set up. I could spin the camera around, but you just see the lighting over here.
No, you're good. Well, that's good. I'm glad it went well, but um
Yeah, there's always road bumps along the way, but Jesus, man, this one felt there was a lot of them.
right. Uh but yeah, well, good to have you back. Like I said, Marvin's not feeling too good, so he'll be back next week, I'm sure, when we're back to things as usual. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, you included. Um
Yeah,
like I said, I was busy with some work stuff, so that's starting to simmer down around the holidays. Some of the companies that I do work with, I'm a graphic designer for anybody out there that doesn't know. And some of the companies I work with, we have to like do product labels and shit around the holidays and get stressful. Um, but yeah, so that's all dying down. We got a bunch of stuff coming up this month that I'm excited to talk about and watch. We got Nosferatu coming out,
mm-hmm.
the Bob Dylan movie coming out that looks fucking
Yes,
really
that one I'm
good.
excited for. Yeah.
uh Juror number 2 is going to be streaming at the end of the month, so we got a bunch of stuff here coming down the pike that I'm excited for. This is episode 112. Today we're talking about Smile 2, so we'll get into that a little bit later. I was just saying before we started recording that like I actually forgot that we watched it. I watched it literally yesterday to talk about, and I forgot about it a day later. So, a little sneak peek as to what my thoughts are on the movie, but we'll get into that a
Yeah.
little bit later. Um, so stick around for that, folks. We appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. Leave a comment about anything that we're talking about that you want to weigh in on. It helps us out a lot, and it helps promote the channel to other potential viewers like yourself out there.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
So I have a confession to make. I wanted Marvin
Okay.
here to be here for this, but so I don't know how to say this, but I watched season 3 of The Witcher, and I actually enjoyed it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
Is it out?
Yeah, it's been out. It came out, well, I don't know, last year or some shit. It's been a while.
Oh, right. I was thinking the new.
No, this
Wait,
isn't
so-
the Temu version. This was Henry Cavill's last season.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as you know,
No.
I've been quite vocal about the show in general, how it's not, I don't really care for it all that much. Season 2 specifically was like real fucking bad. And it was like bad in a way that like just completely disrespected some of the characters in it. And like, it was one of the worst, I think, character assassinations I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
You're
Ed,
on record for that.
shout out to Ed, who's
Shout out.
also a huge Witcher fan, also agreed with me. So, and it wasn't just that the season was bad, like it got criticized, and then the showrunners got like fucking belligerent. We're like, well, this is our show and we don't give a fuck about the source material and all this stuff. And then the stuff came out about Henry Cavill, where like he was expressing that he wasn't like super happy with the direction of the show, and particularly his character, and how that he was like trying to contribute. And then there was reports that came out that he was like kind of a dick to work with, because he was trying to like, he was basically doing things with his character that like wasn't approved, just because he knew it was like the right way to do it, basically, is from what I got from it. And then that all culminated in him leaving the show, and now they hired Liam Hemsworth, who fucking looks like a dude cosplaying as Geralt. And at least from the screenshots I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So all this just led to me like not wanting to watch it. And Ed and I, we've been watching some stuff together recently. And I was like, hey, you want to hate watch Witcher season 3? And he was like, yeah. He's like, all right, whatever. He's like, let's have a few laughs. And we both were like blown away by how good it was. It was really good.
Interesting.
Yeah. And this season covered like a pretty interesting point in the story where like Siri is like, it really follows her, not you, iPhone Siri. It really follows her like growth under Geralt and Yennefer's really parenting. They become a family in this season and in this part of the books that they're covering. And then towards the end, they are forcefully like separated, and Ciri goes off on her own with some like band of misfits or whatever. So it's an interesting point in the book. I think they did a really good job with it. It was much better than season 2, and it sucks now because like I'm on board now. I'm like, oh fuck, I want to see this next season, but like going into it without Henry Cavill is a little bit disappointing and disheartening. I don't really care honestly anymore.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it or not.
I wouldn't say it's a must watch. It was good, but it's not like a must watch.
Did you watch the animated
Yeah.
Season? What did you think? Did you like that? I thought that was pretty good.
That was wait, did I watch that? That was the one that was about young Vesemir. Yes, I watched that. Yeah. What I did not, I don't remember it, so I can't tell you how I felt about it. I think it was like,
I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was engaging. I enjoyed it.
What I didn't watch was the spin-off that they did. Blood and fucking Honey or some bull. I don't even know what I can't even tell you what it's about. Michelle Yeoh is in it, I think.
Is that even out yet?
Yeah, no, it was out. It's like 4 episodes,
okay.
and it has like a fucking 3 out of 10 on IMDb. But it's like a prequel to. It's like it's about like how Witchers came to be or some stupid shit. Like I actually just don't care about it whatsoever.
Right.
But then there's a new animation coming out soon called Sirens of the Deep, which actually looks fucking dope. And they got the voice actor from the video game to come in and be Geralt. So that I'm kind of excited about.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was excited to break that news to you guys that I watched Witcher 3 season 3 and I enjoyed it surprisingly.
Hey, maybe you'll watch Venom 3 and like that one too.
Well, absolutely not. I don't know if it's in your news, but I just saw today that they are officially done with the villain universe. Sony announced.
Yeah, it sounds like the
Kraven is going to be the last one.
Well, the reporting that I read, because it said like, well, we're focusing on the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie right now. We've built the characters out we want to. We're not going to make any more. Doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to use those characters in the movies or make those movies, sequels. But I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I have zero interest in either of
They're
that.
never done, Dan. They always got to make something in the Spider-Man universe. Because after we get the Tom Holland Spider-Man, we're going to get Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Well, I've already also expressed that I'm going to probably watch Kraven the Hunter purely because I like J.C. Chandor. He's a really good director. And, he's made bangers. We've talked about him before. He did that movie All Is Lost with Robert Redford where he's lost at sea and there's, no fucking dialogue in that movie. Incredible movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
He did A Most Violent Year with Oscar Isaac, which is a fantastic movie. Margin Call, Triple Frontier. He does just good movies. So this doesn't seem like his cup of tea based on his previous films, but since he's doing it, I kind of want to give it a shot and see how it is. And he just recently said too that his ideal scenario for this is to if they get to do a sequel, which now it doesn't seem like he will, but he wanted to do Kraven the Hunter adaptation. Kraven's Last Hunt adaptation, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is one of
yes. If it does well, he still wants to do it, and that's why I was saying is they might do it, but it might take 5 years because they got to do a couple Spider-Man movies.
The silliness of Sony in this whole thing is that instead of trying to make your own shit, work with Marvel and just make Spider-Man 4 an adaptation of Kraven's Last Hunt. It's arguably one of the best comic book storylines ever printed. And you're already making Spider-Man 4, and it's coming off the heels of Spider-Man being a wanted criminal in the eyes of... Oh, maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that was wiped away. I can't even remember anymore. But anyhow, what have you been watching these days? Anything? Or not really because of the move?
Well, I have my laptop and, I've got the Fire Stick on the TV. So as long as there's internet, I can watch stuff. So,
Right.
yeah, I've actually got to catch up on quite a bit. I finished Superman, Dan.
All the way?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that in a second because I was going to go off on a tangent about that.
Okay.
I'm glad you finally watched it.
Yeah, I'm keeping up with Yellowstone, and there's one episode left, I think. Lioness just finished. So all the Taylor Sheridan shows.
I finished. I don't know if I told you. I think I mentioned. No, I don't think I said it. Did I say it? I don't recall. I might have said it to Marvin in one of the episodes that you weren't with us, but I did. No, you were with us. Marvin and I only missed 2 episodes, and you weren't there for both. So I don't know if I told you guys, but I ended up finishing Mayor of Kingstown this most recent season.
Yeah, I don't know if you. Yeah, I don't think I was there for that because you hadn't started it. You had started.
Yeah. We
were
had
about
talked
to
about
start it or whatever. Yeah.
I thought it was really good actually. I was really. I thought. I know you said it was kind of more of the same, but it was. But I like the way it's sort of escalating. I like the dynamic between him and Bunny and how that's their friendship is sort of getting shaky a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting. Yeah.
Really curious to see what happens now with the cop, the hothead fucking SWAT guy who is gonna fucking go hand. I mean, obviously, what's his name's brother shot him now at the end to stop him from killing the dad in the car on the bridge. So that was kind of crazy. I'm glad they kind of put to bed the fucking Russian bullshit because I was sort of over with. And when they brought Milo back again, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. You can't keep doing this. And I thought what you had said too. You were like, it's more of the same. And you didn't really spoil it. And I was just like, fuck. Are they really just going to continue with this fucking Milo guy? But luckily they wrapped all that up. And they wrapped it up in a real good way by killing her off too, which I thought was really actually a great piece of writing.
Yeah.
I read about it a little bit after because I was like, wow, that's such an interesting decision to do that. She was a big character. But the one of the writers said that they felt it was a really good way to portray what the show has been portraying the whole time, which is just the bleakness of life itself, how sometimes things just don't go the way you want, And I think it speaks to his character, Jeremy Renner's character, Mike, because no matter what he does, he can only do so much, right? He couldn't save her really, despite giving her all the tools and opportunity necessary to save herself. Like
Yeah.
that last hit put her away, you know?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do, and it's sad.
Yeah, and that's like the whole point of it. It was like meant to be just a sad ending. Like this is it. But what's even sadder, other than that she died, like, I mean, not to sound like a shitty person, but like it's kind of, I mean, to be honest, like she's at peace now that she died. Clearly, she was like troubled and whatever. The saddest part is that Mike thinks she's gonna go on like he's not gonna know that she died, unless it gets back to him that like a dead body was found in a bus or something. But like, presumably he sent her on her way, and he's just never gonna find out about it. Is the way I took it. I don't know, but I enjoyed the season. That continues to be a good show. But like we've been talking about,
It does.
Taylor Sheridan seems to have a problem closing. I heard that Yellowstone next week was the last episode. I haven't watched this week's yet. I'm one episode behind, but I was like, holy fuck. Because I forgot this is like the back half of a full season. So I was like, oh, we were already done. So I can only comment on the last episode that I watched, which was an absolute joke. Like, the fact that they put this on television is astonishing to me. Like, and the episode I'm referring to.
Which part of it?
Oh, you know how Beth is a fucking Jedi, apparently, all of a sudden?
Oh.
And literally feels a disturbance in the Force the moment John is dead?
Yeah.
Like, I audibly gasped at that she's just like in her car, like, oh, something's wrong, calls fucking Rip. Rip, something's wrong. What is it, honey? I don't know. Are you okay? Something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. And then fucking, I was like, that's fucking corny and cheesy, and I can't believe they did that. And then they double down. And the very next cut is Casey waking up out of his fucking dead sleep, feeling John dying, like in the fucking Force itself. I can't believe that they did that. What was your reaction? This is crazy as like that's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people there's yeah, I don't know. I hadn't see. You're the only one that talked about it being like the Force or whatever. People will have experiences like that all the time. Report experiences like twins where their brother or sister dies. They know it or they feel it. I mean, it's not all that ridiculous or uncommon or reportable when you're thinking of that in like a spiritual aspect and a connection to somebody. So I didn't think that was all that ridiculous. But I can understand how you would think like it is pretty stupid. But I didn't like that's I didn't think anything of it really until you.
That's fine. Listen,
said something about it.
You know me, I don't believe in any of that magical, mystical bullshit. And whether or not twins feel shit, I know there've been like reports of that happening and stuff. I don't know if it's provable or not, but
sure,
it just seemed a little bit far-fetched for a show that like kind of, I feel like this whole time has been pretty good about keeping things like grounded for the most part. You know what I mean? I think it's actually one of the problems that like we have with the show, specifically me and Marvin, how it remains grounded, where they'll set you up for like some crazy fucking violent showdown that never comes because it is handled in a more grounded way. So that just seemed a little bit kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I think just overall like the acting and the writing has just gotten real bad. I don't know. And you know what too? I was actually going to flip my opinion a little because I was shitting on Casey, I think, after the first 2 episodes or something, or just the way they're writing him. He's looking at wolves and shit all the time, talking to wolves.
Yeah.
He's really still the only character I think I like. I wish he did more badass stuff, but his character is actually the most compelling, I decided, to me, because he's like legitimately trying to move on from his past as a soldier.
Sure.
And also step out of his father's shadow and his father's legacy to create his own family. And to create his own legacy with his son and his wife and that sort of stuff. So I think that's cool. And I like that. But other stuff with him, I don't know. I think it could be handled a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying the storylines so far, except for the one where they had to write fucking John Dutton out of it. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you that it's pretty stupid. Like overall, it's pretty stupid.
I actually don't.
But they had to do it. The other storylines like Teeter and fucking, all the hands,
Mhm.
those storylines that they're doing right now. It's like, well, I can see what Taylor was doing with this, and it was been way more fucking impactful
Yeah.
if they hadn't had to kill fucking John Dutton at the beginning of the season. So that kind of pissed me off about it. But I understand there's nothing you can do about that. You got to write the character out, and it's just you're up against the wall. So
Surprisingly,
I'm enjoying it, but it's also it's frustrating.
Yeah, surprisingly, writing off John Dutton is actually the thing that bothers me the least about this half of the season, because I actually went back to look at some of our old videos when we were covering the first half of the season, because I legitimately forgot like what had happened in the beginning of the season. I think I got this season and last season jumbled up, and so I went back to just read through some of our videos, the titles and the thumbnails, basically to get an idea. And I mean, it was leading to this anyway, I think. Like, obviously, maybe they wouldn't have killed him because, if Kevin Costner was still around. But I think it's like a reasonable end point to what they were building in the first half of the season, where, like, what's his name? The fucking son. What the fuck is his name? The villain.
Okay. So, fuck.
What the hell is his name? Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah.
So they Jamie aligned himself with this like fucking giga corporate fucking villain.
Every time he aligns with the enemy.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is, like, this time it was like, oh, she's even fucking.
He got a reporter pregnant that I was trying to hit. He's in the middle of a death that what the fuck,
but
dude?
In the beginning of the season, this chick felt different. Like, she was like a fucking cutthroat, ruthless corporate bitch to rival even fucking Beth's ruthlessness, which was like the crazy thing. And so I feel like John's death is like kind of it makes sense that we got here. But the rest of the writing is just so bad. Like, in this last episode that I'd watched, Casey kind of takes things into his own hands. He goes to the medical examiner and is like, basically step by step, telling the medical examiner how to do her job. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. And it like starts off plausible. He's like, yeah, when we did fucking raids. Now, they also hinted that this is the first time they've ever really actually had Casey reference, or the show referenced what Casey did. So
yeah.
He's like a SEAL because there was the Navy cross or the symbol in the first episode in his apartment or whatever, the motorhome, before he gatted his wife's brother or whatever. But they've never really actually mentioned what he did overseas. They alluded to the fact, at least in my mind, that he was like part of the fucking raid that killed bin Laden. Because maybe I'm just overthinking it, but he was like, yeah, when we fucking... He was talking about how they like snatch people up in the middle of the fucking night, basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this was a 3-man job, and like they would have had to have somebody holding his feet and holding his arms while the other person injected him. Like, he knew everything step by step. My mind just went to bin Laden. I don't know, maybe that's not what it was intended. Regardless, though, he gives a step by step fucking training to the medical examiner of how to like basically ascertain the fact that he was in fact murdered. And I was just sitting there. I was like, this is fucking cartoonish. Casey goes, he literally, I have it in my notes, quote, in theory, to like the exact thing that happened to John. It was just the way it was just so funny. He's like, in theory, he was fucking snatched by 3 guys, dragged into another room, injected with something, and made to look like he shot himself. And I was like, oh, brother. So,
yeah.
The last thing I'll say, I'm not, I'm a predicting super genius, but I can't take too much credit for this one because I called this shit a mile away, but it's not my skill set that did it this time. Sarah's death, spoilers, was way too obvious. In this episode, as soon as that phone number didn't work, I knew she was done for. I don't know if you remember the episode before she got killed, but the second she got in her car, I knew she was going to get pulled up on at a light or a stop sign, because that shit has been done so much in movies and shows. Like, they couldn't even bother to give like a sneaky different camera angle or something. It was like such an up close shot to her that like you knew something was going to be happening off screen real quick. and that's exactly what happened. But she's dead. But yeah, I didn't watch the most recent episode, so I can't speak on it, but I can't imagine it got any better. So you did some fucking work, huh? You caught up all the way up on Superman and Lois, huh?
Yeah, watched the whole season.
Well, there was at one point
think
you
so.
stopped because I hadn't even talked really about the previous season when they introduced Doomsday, and because I was
Right.
keeping Doomsday a secret, like you hadn't gotten to that, and I was like, I wasn't trying to spoil it for you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
So what do you
how it is
think?
where
What do
they
you
are.
what do you think about? First of all, what do you think about the inclusion of Doomsday? I thought that was dope how they did it, and he looked
Yeah.
pretty comic accurate.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Another series finale got cut short. You know, it had to be different budget, character cast cut, and they brought them all back at the end. There was, I mean, overall, the series is amazing. The way they did the end of the season was pretty good, but I think they maybe could have done better. But it was
Really?
pretty good.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they could have kept some of the characters
Well,
in the story instead of just sending them away.
well, their
But
budget
I
was
get why they
like
had to do it.
their budget was like really cut for this season.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I thought they actually allocated their spending like pretty well. Like every character that you would want to got like a decent enough like farewell. That was all pretty on par with their character, I thought. And they obviously saved the bulk of the budget for this last fight in the last episode, the finale.
Yeah.
I just for a fucking CW show, I mean, they like really fucking nailed it, man. Like I completely have like I had before this like zero expectations about what a CW show was or what it could be. Anything I had seen from CW was just not my fucking cup of tea at all. Just cheesy beyond the point of watchability for me. But
Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor was better.
I have heard that. I have heard Michael Rosenbaum is like the quintessential Lex.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I really liked this guy's whatever. I can't think of his name, but he played Abraham in Walking Dead.
Yes.
But I think he was really good. Like, I think he did a really good job. In fact, I actually found him like kind of frightening at times because you got the sense that he was like a loose cannon. And now this obviously was a different portrayal of Lex than really what's in the comic book, where he's more Michael Cudlitz is the guy who played him in this, who's a very good actor. I think he did a good job. He's a little bit more of like a ruthless version of Lex, not really a like manipulative super genius. I guess he kind of was a little bit, but he was more at like his wit's end, it felt like, in this.
Yeah, it was like he was an intelligent businessman, but also like
at the end of his rope.
Fucking yeah.
But I thought he did a really good job.
Brooding monster under the skin.
I thought they did the Death of Superman story arc like really good.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised like the route that they took, which was, you know, make Superman a man, essentially.
Right.
As best they could. And so what happens is Doomsday rips his fucking heart out. He's dead for a little bit. And to save him, Lois's dad, General Lane, sacrifices himself so that his heart can be put into Superman's body. But because now Superman is running around with a human heart, he's losing his powers and he's aging at a more accelerated rate than what Superman or a Kryptonian would have to deal with. And so by the end of the season, it's like literally about Superman dying. They did the death of Superman. They just did it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the finale was like beautiful. I cried like you wouldn't believe. Like the last time I cried like this was in Endgame. Like I couldn't breathe. It was like ugly, burly, like type of crying. Did it?
Yeah, I thought the wedding like reunion stuff was a little.
The wedding was like a little
just
CW cheese,
meh.
but the
meh,
whole
yeah.
the
Post that where he's telling the story of himself about how
Yeah.
it ended. That
Mhm.
was great.
Well,
Yeah, that was great.
it wasn't until after like I knew it was going on, but I didn't really quite connect it. But that's the way he opens the show too. The first episode, the pilot, is him narrating his coming to Earth, and he's like, "I remember the day I came to Earth, and like I met my parents." And it's him telling the story of his life in that first episode. Turns out the whole
Yeah.
series is him telling the story of his life. He comes to Earth as a
Mhm.
baby. He grows up. He meets Lois, falls in love, has kids, and this is the story of him being Superman, Earth champion, while also raising a family and being a good husband. And then the end, it ends with him telling the story of his death, which is he just grows old with Lois. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry again. It was so beautifully done that he just like grows old with Lois, and like
Yeah.
that's what would happen, you know. And oh, the fucking when they had Crypto come on screen for obvious reasons, I fucking lost my shit.
Yeah, I bet
Man.
you did. Yeah.
But it was really, really well done. And, you know, I seen people going, it's like, oh, it was so sad and this, that. It's not sad because, like, he says it in the end. He's like, life is about love. Like, find love and, like, never let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a beautiful message in the end of it all because that's what Superman is about. And you know, he forgave Lex. Like, he did all the things that Superman would do. And that's why the show was great in the end. This is hands down, without question, the best live action Superman I think ever. It even surpasses the Richard Donner films for me. Yeah, I know there's like the nostalgia bias of Christopher Reeve in those movies, but like this was better for my money. This is like the perfect adaptation of Superman. Everything about like I think they got Doomsday correct on a fucking TV budget. Tyler Hoechlin balances Superman and Clark perfectly, which is very important. That's something that we haven't really seen, since Christopher Reeve, is getting both characters correct. Superman and Clark, because they're two very different personalities. And I think an iconic way that Christopher Reeve played it, and they talk about it in that documentary, Superman, is that scene where he's in Lois's apartment and he's going to confess, and he's Clark and he's like all fucking slouched and like not confident. And the second he takes his glasses off, he like corrects his posture and he's like Superman. And that's something that I always like stood out to me in that movie and just the way he played him. But Tyler Hoechlin fucking just crushed it. The way he plays Clark is just so innocent and charming and like genuine that I don't know. I don't know if you could even really top it, to be honest. I watched it with Ed, and I said afterwards, I was just like, damn, James Gunn has big shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's certainly, yeah. It was a good conclusion and a great story. I don't know. Great writing for sure. It's hard to hit the character that good, but they do.
Well,
you all right over there?
No.
Okay.
My water went down wrong. What's his name? Grant Morrison. There's a quote of him talking about Superman. Grant Morrison, of course, famous comic book writer, wrote All-Star Superman. But he talks about, in this quote, I'm paraphrasing, he says how, like, how do you write a story about a guy who, when he takes his dog for a walk, he takes it for a walk on the moon? Like, it's not easy to write. And he's like, well, it is actually easy because, of course, what do? You fucking tell a human story. And that's always been at the heart of Superman's character, is his humanity. You know, we talked about it when we reviewed the Donner movie, that at its like Superman, despite being an alien from another world with godlike powers here on Earth, he's still the most human among humans. And that's his superpower. His superpower is always doing the right thing, always being kind, always giving people grace and forgiveness and like all those things that like we should all aspire to be. It's not the fact that he could fucking like move planets and shit. And so I just think the show really captured that perfectly. And again, when saying, you know, that's been Superman's criticism forever, is like, he's too powerful, he's too fucking boring, he's too much of a goody two shoes. It's like, well, you just don't understand the character. I hate being that guy who's like, you don't understand it, but like, truly, you have like a fundamental misunderstanding of the character, if that's how you feel. Zack Snyder. And so yeah, I don't know. The show just really knocked it out of the park. It was an amazing adaptation of Superman. It wasn't just an amazing adaptation of Superman. It was a really good show. Like, it was a good show for anything. It could have, for any subject matter. It was written well. It was acted well. It concluded well. I know their plan was to go like 7 seasons, and I'm seeing stuff of like they would have wanted to have Brainiac eventually, because I don't know if you put 2 and 2 together, but the scientist guy who like rewired the suit, that was Brainiac.
Yeah.
So I think they ended it at the perfect time. Shows that go beyond 5 seasons, I know we all agree on that, is they could tend to get a little bit long-winded, but yeah, I don't have enough good things to say about that show. What?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's a great show.
Yeah, I thought you were laughing at me.
No.
Well, I'm glad you caught up to it and watched it. I was like excited for you to watch it.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to finish it, and I'm sad that it's over. But also looking forward to what I don't know, man. We'll see. We gotta talk about the whole James Gunn here in a little bit.
Did you squeeze out a few tears though at the finale or what?
No rollers, no, but I teared up, but I
Okay.
didn't cry. It was eye water. It was close, but yeah, no, it was heartfelt, good stuff. Superman telling the story.
Yeah.
I imagine. Yeah, I was just thinking is what I was laughing at actually, as I was like, imagine if they had like the budget of like the Acolyte.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, again, that's like has to be like, first of all, it's a CW show. Again, I had zero expectations. I only started watching the show like prior to last season airing, because I was like, I saw some clips on YouTube randomly, and I was like, oh, this show looks kind of good for like a CW budget. I was like, let me check it out. And
are you gonna try Supergirl now?
No, because that's a show that I've heard like I just heard it ran like way too long. This is different though than those. This had like a cinematic feel to it. They went into it with a different approach, I think, than the Berlanti-verse stuff.
Mm-hmm. Good old Greg.
But yeah, just from a core concept, I think it was great. And like, I never want to hear again that it's hard to write a Superman story, a compelling Superman story, because it's not. You just make him do things that we all deal with, right? Like, and that's it. So 10 out of 10, I think. 10 out of 10 show for me. I loved every second of it. What else? Creature Commando started. Did you watch that? Did you watch? I've heard it's getting like
nope. No,
it's getting like crazy praise from critics and audiences alike. However, it is being review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes by some you-know-who's, unfortunately. But it's not even affecting the rating. Zack Snyder fans are review bombing.
Sure. Yeah.
In case I wasn't clear.
I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if some of our viewers may not, but yeah, I was picking up what you were putting down.
But yeah, I heard it's really good.
Yeah, I have too. But I haven't got around to it. I'll probably maybe this week, or if not, I don't know, next week. I'm going to start getting into some new shows, but there's stuff coming out pretty soon too.
Yeah, Severance is starting in a couple of weeks. I got a couple of other things. I mean, I'm watching like multiple shows at once right now, so I think once those die down, I'll probably start some of the stuff I'm backed up on. I still got shit like, whatever, the CIA show or whatever, fucking Tulsa King. Like, there's plenty of shit that I got in the back burner. I also still considering doing fucking the Lord of the Rings shows, Rings of Power or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I got stuff lined up for fucking months to keep me busy.
Good. Yeah.
But yeah,
there's a lot of content out there.
Well, that about catches us up. Why don't we get into the news, Dusty? Before we get into the news, though, just a reminder, folks. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing. Only if you like what you're seeing so far. We don't want no fake subscribers. You know what I'm saying? We want you to like what we're doing. But, leave a like on the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. All that stuff helps us out a lot. It helps push the show out. And subscribing is free. So it's really just the best way for you to get updates, to know when new episodes drop, and one of the best ways to support the podcast. So consider doing that stuff. We really appreciate it. Dusty here used to be a newsman. He worked in video game journalism. Now he digs deep for entertainment news for us here. So what you got for us this week, Dusty?
Okay, well, we got the Golden Globes coming up pretty soon.
Right.
They're going to be on CBS January 5th.
Okay.
Agatha All Along is actually the only MCU project this year that got a nomination.
Really?
Obviously, Catherine Hahn. Yeah. Best performance by an actress in a television series, musical or comedy. She goes against Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary, Ayo Edebiri for The Bear, Selena Gomez, Only Murders in the Building, and Gene Smart from Hacks.
Okay.
And I don't know. What do you think about these nominations? The Brutalist, the Best Motion Picture. Are you excited for that one?
I honestly haven't paid much attention to that. I just saw about The Brutalist today.
This one's like there's an intermission because it's like a 3-hour movie.
No, but you know what I was going to bring up on the podcast, and you literally just reminded me. Today, I just saw that the runtime for Captain America Brave New World is just under 3 hours. It's going to be the longest Marvel movie to date. Even longer than Endgame, which is crazy. But no, I did not hear about The Brutalist. That's an 8.1 on IMDb, so I'm assuming that 3 hours and 35 fucking minutes? Good God.
There's an intermission, though. Damn, they put it in the movie. So you could...
Yeah, this is not one I'll be watching. This is like...
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I always talk about that I don't care how much of like a film buff I am. I don't care how much I love movies. I don't care how good this movie is. I don't care how many awards it wins. I will never watch this movie. You would have to fucking sit me down at gunpoint to watch this movie. Not only because it's fucking 3.5 hours. It's 3.5 hours of something that I completely do not care about. When a visionary architect, Laszlo Toth, and his wife, Erzsébet, flee post-war Europe in 1947 to rebuild their legacy and witness the birth of modern America, their lives changed forever by a mysterious and wealthy client. Like, I could not care less about this movie. This is when you've joked around with me and you've made fun of me. When I say I don't like period pieces, this is the shit I'm fucking talking about.
Right. That's fair.
Guy Pearce is in it, totally not playing the mysterious fucking wealthy guy. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm sure this movie's great. I have no desire to see it.
Dune Part 2. Wicked. Have you seen Wicked?
No, but it's getting fucking hype.
Yeah, it's good.
You watched it?
Did I watch it? Yeah. Yes. It's pretty good. Not as good as the Wizard of Oz, but it's pretty good.
Well, you can't expect it to be as good as the Wizard of Oz. Sorry, my desk was shaking. I had to adjust the shims. All right, what else we working with here?
Well, we got the Superman logo. What do you think about it? They showed a picture from Comic-Con Japan, I think.
Yeah.
And we got the official.
I mean, I'm not
logo.
surprised. It is what it's the logo. They showed it like months and months ago, right? When the movie was announced.
Yeah.
It's cool that it's now in public. Like this is starting to become like more and more real, I think.
Have you heard anything about the trailer? Any trailer release news? Do we have a confirmation on a date?
No confirmation on a date. James Gunn keeps teasing it. He just responded to somebody a couple days ago. Somebody was like, "Can I get a glimpse?" And he said, "In the not too distant future." He said, or something along those lines. I think everybody assumes it's coming out on the 15th because it's the anniversary of the actual like Richard Donner movie. Is December 15th, I think, is the day.
Okay.
So we'll see. We have 5 days. I need to see it though. Tell you that.
Well, yeah. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. We were talking about James Gunn and DC stuff.
Yeah.
He was talking about how Lanterns was going to be grounded, and I was getting frustrated with this grounded bullshit because everybody wants their movies to be grounded. And I don't think anybody knows what grounded is.
Nope.
So he did an interview, and Gunn clarified what he thinks it is. And he says, I think grounded, just like if Green Lanterns was real, what the fuck would they be and how would they be? This is basically what we were talking about for what made Superman and Lois great.
Mm-hmm.
But he also said, I was thinking about it the other morning, the thing that keeps getting out. And it's that terrestrial story. And I'm like, yeah, because it's on Earth. The story takes place on Earth. Everybody's like, we don't want to see Earth. They're from outer space.
This is an interview he did recently because I watched the interview. He was on he's been doing like rounds for Creature Commandos. But yeah, it was funny. He's like, yeah, it's fucking on Earth, so it's a terrestrial story. He's like, like all other Green Lantern stories. Oh, whoops, we're on the wrong scene. Because I think he's getting criticism because people are throwing whatever criticism at him no matter what because he's not Zack Snyder. But their criticisms, like they are reaching like hard. And one of them, like they're just trying to throw whatever shit and see what sticks. And it's like, fucking Green Lantern's not going to be in space. It's going to be on Earth. Like they don't even know what they're talking about. So that was funny. I have, speaking of James Gunn, in his rounds, he actually spoke to something that we talk about a lot. We have talked about a lot about, is this the death of Hollywood and people aren't going to movies and all this stuff? And he actually addressed it directly. He said that we need to go back. Basically, I'm paraphrasing because I don't feel like playing the whole video, but we need to go back to making good scripts. And he said that's really the problem, is that he thinks scripts and stories are suffering, and that if you tell a good story, people will go to the theaters. And specifically, he's talking about the fact that he's approaching the DC differently than Marvel does. What he was basically saying is that with Marvel, there's an end goal to reach, and they have everything planned out in terms of films. They know that, like, we're going to get Thor 2, and then we're going to get Iron Man 3, and then we're going to get Guardians 2, and so on and so forth. And so there are scripts submitted for movies that are already down the pipeline. What his approach is that he knows what movies he wants to make, but he is in no way, shape, or form committing to making them until he gets a script that he's happy with, and only then will he greenlight and plan the movie. So I think that's a good approach, but it seems to me like, from what I'm hearing, this is going to be a very different experience than Marvel, and I don't think we should expect it to be a Marvel experience where we kind of know where we're going. This seems like we're going to get a lot of scattered. Here's a Superman movie. Here's a Supergirl movie. Oh, Batman's coming some point in time, but it's not going to be as cohesive as Marvel. It seems like James Gunn is treating it more like the comic books, where it's just like you have Batman comic book, you have a Superman comic book, you have a Wonder Woman comic book, and like every so often they come together for like to fight some big bad.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Coleman Domingo said, there was rumors of him, replacing Kang. Jonathan Majors. He said he did sit down with Marvel, but he didn't discuss specific characters. He said they were like, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I don't know. What do you have for me?" Which seems like Marvel is just reaching out to people, and if they show interest in a character that they're thinking about putting in a movie, they'll have greater talks or maybe offer it. But that's kind of a weird conversation.
Well, did you see the news that broke today? Speaking of Marvel,
maybe.
Well, Chris Evans has officially been cast in Avengers Doomsday. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the cast we're looking at is Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Anthony Mackie, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Holland, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, my girlfriend, Joseph Quinn, Eben Moss, Bachrach, and Thunderbolts members. What do you think? Is this a desperation thing, just like RDJ, or what?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I saw it and you were like, just pick 5. I was like, I don't even want to report that bullshit. I
mean, listen, I'm like, here's
how many the amount. Like, I get this is the problem with a universe like this, and then you try and put like every character in the movie. Why are you bringing back these characters when you're supposed to be introducing all the new characters?
no, because they're this is in my okay. There's 2 parts of this, right? Part A is that the second I realized that they were ever going to make a Secret Wars movie, there's a part of you that knows that all these people are coming back. Yeah. Right? Because that's what Secret Wars is. If you're familiar with the comic books,
yeah, it's like the last half of the last episode of Superman. They bring all the characters back, and they're like, "Hey, okay, let's say goodbye."
But it's just what Secret Wars is. It's just what Secret Wars is in the comic books, right? It's everybody. So as soon as they announced that, I was like, everybody that's ever been in a Marvel movie, fucking ever, is going to be in this fucking. We're gonna get fucking Nicolas Cage as fucking Ghost Rider. We're getting fucking what's his name as Blade. Like everybody's coming back. So in that respect, I'm not surprised that Chris Evans got cast. However, this isn't that, I don't think. Just like Robert Downey Jr. is not that. This is like an effort to stop the bleeding that they've been experiencing. And they're doing that by bringing back the fucking people that built the shit, because they, at this point, think that that's what they need to revive excitement in the franchise. Maybe it is. I don't know. I think most people are kind of seeing it as just like cheap sort of bullshit to do exactly the thing that I'm saying. So I don't know if it's going to work.
Well, it can't be cheap to bring him back. You're spending a fuck ton of money.
When I say cheap, I don't mean cost. I mean cheap as in like not creative and, you know, easy slim pickings. Rather than doing something new and creative and good, they're taking the easy route, is what I meant.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I appreciate you delivering the news again. I have one last thing I wanted to talk about. It's not news. Sure. It's just a little funny thing that I came across on Twitter. I actually came across it fucking weeks ago, and I forgot to bring it up. Because sometimes I lose track of things that I bookmark on Twitter. But I did see this on Twitter, and it is very funny. You and I got to talk about Saltburn. I don't think Marvin was there for it. You and I both like laughed hysterically at Saltburn, at how bad we thought that movie was.
Yeah.
And so Ridley Scott, who is getting talked about quite a bit recently for Gladiator 2, and the decision to even fucking make a Gladiator sequel, as well as some other questionable decisions he's done with his Alien franchise and so on and so forth. He apparently said that Saltburn is, quote, the best film he's seen all year. So perhaps I just thought it was funny that like he's calling this movie that was complete dog shit the best movie he's seen all year. And I was like, oh, no wonder why he's been doing the things he's been doing.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. I'm proud. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. He really enjoyed the jizz slurping out of the fucking
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2 though is getting pretty good reviews. It's got a 6.9. Have you watched it yet or no?
Oh, that's what I wanted. How's it doing on the old no, I haven't watched it yet. Box Office Mojo.
I don't know how it's doing, but apparently it's people are saying it's a fun movie. I don't know.
Gladiator 2 opening 55 million.
It's doing good on Rotten Tomatoes too. It's 72% fresh with an 82% audience score. So I guess we'll be able to watch and talk about it soon enough, because it'll probably be on streaming soon enough.
370 million worldwide. So
That's-
it's doing.
That's pretty good.
That's number 14 behind Twisters and Planet of the Apes, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, and Beetlejuice.
Number 14.
Yeah, Gladiator 2, 14. Alien Romulus is at 15, so it did better than Alien.
Wow. That's actually surprising. I'm surprised Beetlejuice did. Actually, no, I'm not. Never mind.
Beetlejuice is 10. So
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm
450.
I was going to say that I was surprised Beetlejuice did better, but I'm not actually. Beetlejuice is like the perfect type of movie to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Anyhow.
All right. Well, let's get into today's movie. That is Smile.
We have to eventually.
That is Smile 2. So, what do you get? What if Taylor Swift was being psychologically tormented by a parasitic demon that feeds on her deepest fears and insecurities? That's the premise here in Smile 2. And so that's literally what this movie is. We have a global pop sensation, Sky Riley. She's getting ready to embark on a world tour, but she's recovering from a trauma that she suffered where she caused an accident with her and her boyfriend, who was a famous actor, Paul Hudson. He died in this car accident. She was severely injured. And so she's sort of dealing with the trauma of this happening and some drug use and this, that, and the other thing. So this demon, as we've learned in the first film, feeds off of trauma. It's called a trauma demon or some bullshit. And she's its next target. And she starts to experience some horrifying and confusing events. And that's more or less the plot of this movie. It's written and directed by Parker Finn, who is the same guy who did the first one. Man, was this movie bad. I'm gonna let you go first, though.
It's kind of funny that you can have watched this and not have seen the first and still understand what the evil spirit is. They explain it.
Yeah. I should mention you and I watched the first one.
Yeah.
Back when it came into streaming, because we were gonna talk about the first one on the podcast, and you and I watched it together. It's one of the few times we've actually watched a movie together that we were gonna talk about. And I think you and I both just like decided like, nah, we don't even have to talk about it because it was like not even worth talking about. And this is,
well,
I feel the same way about this one.
Was that pre It Follows?
Yes.
Or was that post?
No, yeah.
Did we talk about It Follows? Or
it was after we had made Marvin watch It Follows.
Okay. Yeah.
But go on. I'm sorry to cut you off. Tell me what you thought about this.
No, that's fine. So yeah, and when you watch this movie, you have an idea in your head of how it's going to end. You're like, once you figure out, you're like, okay, this thing wants her to smile and kill herself on stage in front of everybody.
Right.
And then it takes you down this road of like, well, maybe not. But then, obviously.
Yeah. So, basically, the mechanics, I think, is what you're talking about. The mechanics of this demon. Because it passes on from person to person via trauma. The person has to witness a trauma. In some, like, I guess at the
suicide.
demon's hand.
You have to witness, you have to witness the suicide.
Right.
While,
and then it passes
You kill
on.
yourself while smiling, and it goes to the next person.
Right. So, very loose, nonsensical mechanics of possession. But this movie was just cartoonish, to say the least. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen worse writing in a movie before. Like, go ahead.
If you could make this like an hour and 15-minute movie,
nah, that wouldn't.
I might be like, not a bad, or it is maybe a short film.
I don't know. there are a few redeeming qualities to this movie, to be perfectly
There were
honest.
some really good scenes. Like she did a great job acting out some of those scenes.
Well, I'll get to her in a
but
second.
a lot of it was just like, well, we know what's going on now. What are we still doing here? Let's figure it out.
So I understand there's like a level of subtext to this movie that the writer director wanted to really, I guess, portray here, and that is the fact that, like, you know, it's like the pressures of like being famous and like that lifestyle, and maybe if you're really trying to reach for something, like the pressures that society puts on celebrities to be in the spotlight and all this stuff. But all that stuff is fucking nonsense because you're talking about 1% of the fucking population. I can't fucking relate to that shit. So now you're showing me you're asking me to care about somebody like that. And on, I guess, a human level, I can care when somebody's dealing with some crazy bullshit. But really, I don't fucking care about anything she's dealing with. I don't care about her fucking stress of fucking performing. I don't care about the fucking stress of like signing autographs. Like, I don't know anything about that. I can't barely afford fucking health insurance. So, like, give me a fucking break, Parker Finn. Like, So right away, like, you're telling a story that like I just don't give a fuck about, but then you're wrapping it up in like this bow that is just terrible. And this movie is like nothing but cheap, ineffective, not even effective jump scares. They're cheap. You could tell when they're coming 100% of the time, and they're not even scary. And gore. And neither of it is any good in this film.
Christina enjoyed a couple of the jump scares, but
well, if you remember in the first movie,
too impressed.
There was a jump scare in the first one that fucking got me good. I remember you laughed at me. It was like, I don't know what it was. Like it was clearly like, you know, telegraphed that it was like a scene primed for a jump scare. Just for whatever reason, I don't think I was paying attention or something happened, but I like literally almost fell out of my chair. It was a good one. This didn't have any of that. This was all just like, oh, here comes a jump scare. Oh, here comes a jump scare.
I think the one that got Christina the most was the truck, because the opening scene.
Oh, the truck in the beginning was cool. Yeah, this movie had a really crazy cold open. I will give it that. The cold open was good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the best part of the whole
really
movie.
good.
It's like this dude who shows up to fucking kill some fucking drug guys. There's a huge fucking shootout. The camera
he
work.
didn't show up. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why he showed up. Did
He wanted to kill himself in front of one of those guys so that it would pass on.
Yes.
And he wanted to do it somebody shitty. So he went to that's why he was pissed off. He wanted to kill the one guy and then kill himself in front of the other guy, but that he could pass it on to the drug dealer. Yeah. And he didn't. He killed the drug dealer, and the guy who was there saw him, and he smiled because he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. So he did kind of smile at him. And then he ran off and got hit by a car, ran into traffic, got hit. And so it got to our boy who killed himself in front of Katy Perry or Taylor Swift or whoever you want to call her.
Sky Riley. Yeah. So just all around, like, so at its core, like as a horror movie, I didn't think it really was that effective. It wasn't scary. It wasn't creepy. It didn't do anything really that disturbing or freaky. Like I know it like thought it was doing those things. Like I know the director thought that like, oh, he's going to smash his face over and over again with a fucking weight. And we're going to hold on it. We're not going to fucking pull away from it. Like, it wasn't really disturbing or gross. And you and I talk about this a lot, it seems, like with gratuitous gore and violence in horror movies. Like it doesn't gross me out, doesn't offend me or anything, but it also doesn't do anything when it doesn't serve the plot of the movie. And this felt like that. It was just like trying to be extreme, I feel like. So
yeah, Christina was actually pissed off that they didn't show it at the end. But they did show it through the rest of the movie. She's like, if they don't show, of course they're not going to show it.
Right.
I think that was what she said.
And so, you know, outside of those core elements of horror movies, like there was just the acting was terrible from top to bottom, with the exception of Naomi Scott, and we'll get into her in a second. The writing was terrible. The dialogue in this movie was
the EMS guy that was trying to help her, the brother or whatever, he did.
I
did
think
his job.
I think the dialogue in this movie is perhaps some of the worst I've ever seen in a movie. And I somehow deleted my notes on the movie, so I'm struggling to remember exactly which they were. But specifically, there was two scenes that I remember taking notes about. One was towards the end when they reveal how the car accident happened, and it's them two fighting in the car back and forth. It was comical. She's like, "I hate you," and he's like, "I hate you," and it's just her and fucking Jack Nicholson's son, who played Paul Hudson in the movie. Like, it was just this nonsensical, awful dialogue back and forth before the crash that, like, I was actually laughing. Oh, and the other bit of dialogue was when her friend came over, the one who she was like estranged from.
Yeah,
Gemma, yeah. She comes over the apartment and there's a little bit of an exchange. And I literally laughed. It was like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but Sky like explains something to her or something's going on. And Gemma's like, "What? What's happening? What do you mean?" I was like, this is fucking like high school dialogue, like film class dialogue. And
Ride or die.
And like I said, ride or die. I forgot about that. I've mentioned this before. A friend of mine, former friend of mine, is an actor, and she used to tell me all the time, like, listen, 99% of the time when actors are bad in movies, it's because of the direction and the writing. So I can't blame the actors too much, but man, the acting in this movie was bad. And so that brings me to Naomi Scott, who was the absolute standout of this movie. She was actually incredible, I thought. But there came a point in the movie, in the latter half, like the third act, really, where the movie got so fucking bad that it even brought her down, because she was really good throughout the whole movie. I thought she did a fantastic job of like showcasing her emotional state, which was pure confusion because she's dealing with basically paranormal hallucinations. She doesn't know what's fucking real, what's happening to her. She's seeing fucking smiling things at her. She's people are killing themselves in front of her. She thinks she's experiencing things that like literally aren't happening. And she portrayed all that well. She portrayed like this like fucking mental break really, really well. But at the end of the movie got so bad it even made her look bad. Specifically that scene on stage where she's like, "No!" on fucking, it's just unbelievable. Just how bad certain things were. So
I don't know, what did you think about the scene where she was on stage talking about the disadvantaged kids, where she just went on that rant?
And she saw her ex.
I don't know. Then she shoved the old lady onto the table.
Oh my god, dude! I took a note of that. That shit was that was so fucking funny. She fucking literally throws this lady through a table like it was the WWE. Like, that shit was so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have nothing good to say about this movie except for her acting.
Yeah, like when they were dancing style chasing her down the hallway and filling up the room.
Yeah.
And she just kept turning around like, okay.
Was there any moment where you were actually scared?
No.
I think the creepiest moment, if I had to give it one, was in her apartment when the deranged fan is in her apartment naked.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, I mean, I don't know, more disgusted and.
Well, no,
than
she's
scared,
running
but-
away and you hear his footsteps chasing
Oh
her.
yeah.
That was an
Uh-huh.
effective bit, and then she opens the door and he's not there. Okay, cool. But other than that, man, like fucking good God, this was a rough movie to watch.
Yeah. No, that was a good. Yeah, that's a good run scene.
And I'm just like really tired of. We saw it a lot this year, like more than I feel like I could remember, more than recent memory. We saw it a lot where these horror movies, specifically, this happens in the horror genre. I don't know why, but these horror movies come out with like crazy viral marketing, and then clearly influencers on TikTok and social media are being paid. They have to be like, this is the scariest movie of the year. You know, fucking people are throwing up in theaters over it, blah, blah, blah. And then we end up watching the movie and we're like, what the fuck? Like, what were people talking about? Like, it's literally been every horror movie we've watched this year. It's Smile too. It's Late Night with the Devil, which happened to be good, but like it was still virally marketed and overhyped. Long Legs, virally marketed, overhyped, let us down quite a bit. The Omen sequel, like all these horror movies we saw this year, I feel like did the same shit, and it's like I'm just getting so tired of it. And
yeah, what's up next? Nosferatu.
Well, that's not being overhyped. I'm overhyping that because I love what's his name, Robert
Eggers. Hype.
Well,
yeah.
all right, it's fine. But to be fair, and you and I have gone through this already, it's Robert Eggers. He hasn't made a bad movie, so let's just pretend
no, you're not wrong.
Yeah, okay, it's different. This is something crazy, and I don't understand, because if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it's just filled with these outlandish takes on this movie that I'm like, there's just no way you believe this. It has
I don't know.
This movie has an 86% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with an 81% audience score. Smile 2 is likely to put the thing from the title of the movie on your face. One of the rare sequels that's better than the original in every way. Smile 2 is a different kind of horror movie than the first one. It is bigger, brighter, bolder than the original Smile. This isn't a bad thing. So, like, what are we talking about here?
I don't know. Dan. I don't know what they're talking about.
Parker Finn, who returns to write and direct, focuses entirely on destroying nerves with images destined to invade the brain and generate anxiety long after the film is concluded. I fucking forgot I watched this movie yesterday.
What else has this kid done?
Nothing. Smile and Smile 2. And he did like some fucking, I don't know, short film or some shit. Yeah, Laura Hasn't Slept and The Hide Behind. They're telling me I'm going to be thinking about this movie long after I'm done watching it. Motherfucker, I literally forgot that I watched it yesterday. That's how bad this shit was. Not because I'm old or I smoke weed, because I don't. I totally just, this movie did nothing to me. Wiped it completely out of my memory in an instant. But yeah, I guess to wrap up, I just want to finish my thought that, like, I'm just so sick and tired of these virally marketed movies. And to be fair, the viral marketing for this one's kind of cool. They have people in fucking like basketball games, like just smiling in the fucking audience and shit. And it's kind of cool because it's like, what the fuck is that weirdo doing? But
well, and there was a thread there that was actually like tiny bit interesting. When I was talking about Peter Jacobson, his character Morris, where he's like, man, my brother tried to tell me, like, he asked for help and I just didn't listen.
Yeah.
And when she gets to that point where she's in the room with her mom and she's asking for help, but her mom's not listening, like, that's some scary shit right there. If like,
sure,
but there was just like 2 seconds of that,
but also
just so far apart and disoriented that it didn't. I was like, you could have really done something there. Could have, could have scared me, but no.
The funny thing about that is that both of those things that you just described, her even meeting that guy, the conversation with her mom, being in the hospital, we find out at the end, the big twist is that, like, literally all this shit that we've been watching, that like 75% of the movie basically didn't happen. It was in her head.
Yeah.
It's like, What kind of fucking movie? What kind of story are you telling, dude?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I had made the joke, like, I don't understand how this got greenlit. I don't know how Parker Finn keeps getting work. I don't know if he has like family members in Hollywood or if he has like dirt on some executive or something. But I cannot understand how this movie got made, like, legitimately. Our audiences like going to see this, I guess, maybe if you're to believe the reviews online. This guy should not work again.
Yeah.
Really, like, honestly, he should. And I hate to be mean, but like, this ain't it. And the other thing that neither of us have mentioned, I think you and I are being quite friendly about the fact that this premise about an evil being passed on from person to person like a disease is completely ripped from It Follows, which is a far superior fucking movie in every fucking possible way imaginable. So, I don't know. That's really all I got to say about that. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with it?
I don't know if I'll give. I mean, if he's gonna make another horror movie, I'm not gonna watch it. If he does something else, I don't know. Maybe see what the kids got, but
Nah, yeah. I've had my sample size. I just
Let's try anything twice. That's it.
Yeah. I didn't even want to watch this. I mean, we brought it up, I think, because we were just like, yeah, all right, whatever, fuck it. Like, but I don't know. Yeah.
So, what are we gonna do for Make Marvin Watch this year or this month?
I had two options. First, let's wrap up this movie real quick.
Okay, sorry,
So,
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So,
what is this got?
This is a 6.8 on IMDb. It is beyond me how it is this high. I legitimately liked nothing about this movie except for Naomi Scott's acting, and I won't even credit the movie with her performance. So this shit is a 0 for me.
I give it a 4.5. Like,
okay.
There's a couple. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. Smile 2. If you've seen it, let us know what you think. Leave a comment, because I am bewildered that people liked this movie, and I hate to sound like dismissive of, because whatever, it's art and art is blah. It's subjective. If you liked it, fine. Is it fun? Like, I honestly, if I went out on like a date to this movie, like, it's not even. I wouldn't even be able to just like turn my brain off and have fun with this. It's just that bad. So leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about Smile 2 if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but so you had asked what am I picking for Make Marvin Watch this month?
Yeah, what are we watching?
Usually we do holiday stuff, themed stuff. So I have to see if he's watched it or not.
Well, no, we got 3 weeks left, so I don't even know. We'll do it whenever, but yeah,
we'll take care.
You don't
of
have to pick it yet if you don't want to feel like. But you said you got 2. Did you say what they were?
No, not yet. So we'll take care of the schedule, but I was thinking if I'm going to do like a holiday themed thing, it was going to be Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, that's a great one.
Because I was thinking, like, what are some good Christmas movies that like maybe he wouldn't have seen? I don't know if he's seen that, but I'll have to ask him. The other option I was thinking of, which isn't really a holiday movie, but it's one that people do watch around the holidays leading up to New Year's, When Harry Met Sally. So I'll have to get on the horn with him and see if he's watched either of those, and then make the final decision. But yeah. And then as far as some other movies, there was a couple ones I wanted to run by you for this month. I actually watched Dear Santa, the movie I had mentioned to you with Jack Black.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
It was cute.
Talking about?
I thought maybe we could talk about it. I don't know if it's worth really discussing. It's kind of a cute.
Well, Red
movie.
One did well. We could do that one too. I think it's out on digital, so I don't know.
We'll
we
talk
got a couple
about
movie options. Yeah.
We'll
cool.
talk about it and we'll plan the schedule. Folks, down below, we'll have our link to our Discord where we post our schedule. We posted a month in advance, so if you want to, we had some requests for people who would like to watch along with us so they could sort of be in on the conversation when we talk about a new movie each week. So if you'd like to do the same, down below is a link to our Discord. Once again, consider subscribing. It's free. It's a really great way to support us if you're liking the content, and that way you could keep up to date with new episodes and stuff like that. And please leave a like on the video as well if you're feeling generous. We would really
Give us a
appreciate it.
comment. Tell us what you want us. Give us some watch list
Suggestions, whatever you want. But that's going to do it for us, folks. We will catch you next week back on our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you then.
Hasta.